Good morning, and thank you for joining us for another football feed with Queen City Newsfeed. I'm Cash Matlock, and as always, I'm joined by Rob Allen, notorious local radio host, local sports expert, everything.
You okay? I thought my a little bit lighter this morning. No, I just bribed you with Halloween candy. How about that?
Yeah. Well, Rob, how are you this morning, and how do you feel after last week? I know that you have been on the road with Lamar, and then you finally got some home games. So are we feeling good?
Feeling refreshed. You know, when you've been on the road that many weeks, you know, it feels good to be back at home and actually get to bed at a decent hour, which was fantastic. I
was hoping you were refreshed.
Yeah, it was very good. But, well, it's going to be a big edition today as we're in week 10, and playoffs are just around the corner. And a lot of Thursday games tonight. So
I was going to actually ask you about that because I know that a couple of days ago you said that we were going to have a lot of Thursday games this week. But we'll get to that in a second. First off, we do want to, before we get started, thank our sponsors. I want to start it off with Tammy Thompson's Bell Bonds 101. She's an official sponsor of the football feed with Queen City Newsfeed. And if you need help fast, Tammy Thompson's Bell Bonds 101 is always on call, serving Lauderdale, Clark, Newton, and surrounding counties with confidential 24/7 support. You can visit them at 600 Constitution Avenue, Meridian, Mississippi, or you can call 601-513-9588 anytime, Rob, and that means anytime.
Anytime.
And I'll let you take the next one.
Absolutely. I want to talk about our friends down at All-Star Team Sports. And, of course, when it comes to anything to do with sporting goods down at All-Star Team Sports, no matter what sport is upcoming, and actually basketball officially starts next week for high schools here in the area. So whether it's something for maybe your high school basketball team, cheer, dance, whatever it is. Anything. I mean, Jason and them got you covered down there at All-Star Team Sports. And, of course, there you see their number at 601-483-7385. And if you need something customized, maybe some apparel for your favorite school, whether it's Meridian, West Lauderdale, Clarkdale, whoever it might be, they got you covered down there at All-Star Team Sports. Can't thank them enough.
Or maybe it's not sports related and you want your favorite local news organization.
Look at you.
Yeah, maybe you want one of those.
He's so fancy.
They're like, please, God, don't make us make another one.
Oh, no. Never.
All right, our next sponsor is Ujjwal Kumar. He is a men's fashion expert at Dillard's in Uptown Meridian.
Here's my guy.
That is the mall here. Ujjwal has hooked both of us up with great suits. And you can reach him.
Just not the shoes right there.
Right, yeah, no shoes in the picture. But definitely a great, what do you call it, stylist, Rob. He's a great stylist for men. And he is in the Dillard's men's department. You can call him at 601-686-1129. Or just stop by Dillard's. There's a couple of pictures of me in a suit. I think I've gotten 2 suits from Ujjwal, and I know you've gotten like a sports coat and pants and shirts.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was commenting. I went to my class reunion last Saturday. They were like, "You look really sharp," and I said, "Well, this is where I got it at." And they were like, "Oh, really?" So there you go. The word is spreading.
Yes, so we're doing our best, Ujjwal, to spread the gospel here.
There you go.
All right, Rob. And then we do have a newer sponsor who is a big Michigan fan. I'll let you talk about him.
I tell you what, Bill and the staff down at Brickhaus Brewtique, of course, they're right in the heart of downtown Meridian, and they're located at 2206 Front Street. And, of course, they're going to be just a few clicks down from the Meridian Railroad Museum this weekend for their Rail Fest. And, of course, if you're looking for a place with the largest selection of craft beer in Mississippi, they've got it down at the Brickhaus Brewtique. And, of course, they got a lot of great handcrafted food there as well. So whether you're just catching your breath after a busy trick-or-treating night or whatever it might be, after a ball game maybe tomorrow night or tonight, Brickhouse has got you covered. And of course, Bill wants to let everybody know, go blue. And of course, we'll talk about the Michigan Wolverines a little bit later on. So it's where Meridian goes to unwind. That is Brickhouse Brewtique.
All right. And also, I want to remind people, make sure you like and share and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more football feed content. Also, we are newly available on Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Podbean, Amazon, Spotify, Player FM, Podchaser, and Boomplay.
and I would say probably and more.
Yeah, and more, and more.
And more, and more, and more.
Wherever you can listen to a podcast, we're most likely on.
We are there.
Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get things started, Rob. Let's talk about the 3 games that we broadcast, as we always do first.
I guess we'll, there's the 3 right there. And, of course, these are all except for Meridian. I do want to point that out. Meridian, they have one more regular season game after this week, but the 2 there at the top there, Lamar and Heritage, and then Choctaw Central and West Lauderdale. These are the final regular season games for both of those schools right there, that being West and Lamar. But, of course, I guess we'll start out with West Lauderdale first because they play tonight, and that is one of the Thursday games tonight. Of course, you can catch the action over on Q101. Of course, there you see the FM dial frequency there on the screen. But
is it because of tricking?
They usually do this where you'll see, like, the playoffs start next week. You'll see a lot of teams play this week on Thursday because the playoffs do start next Friday. It kind of gives them that one extra day of preparation for the postseason. But I think that, in combination with trick-or-treating, probably had a lot to do with it, because we do see several Friday games that we'll get to. But so it's a little bit of combination of both. But this is a big game for West Lauderdale as they go visit Choctaw Central. West got a big win last week against Northeast Lauderdale. To kind of,
you said that was make or break.
That was make or break for either team. We'll talk about Northeast coming up here in a few minutes because they got a huge game tomorrow night for themselves for senior night. But West Lauderdale has gotten themselves back in the playoff picture. And, of course, the way the playoffs work in public school football, and when I say public school ball, I mean the MHSAA, you have to finish at least in the top 4 in your division. Well, with that win last week against Northeast, West Lauderdale has put themselves back in shape here to get that 4 seed. Now, you're in, but the only problem is you're going to be the 4 seed. You're going to have to travel in the first round because the lower seed always travels, on the road the first round. So don't know who they would play yet. There's still a lot to, shake out tonight and tomorrow, but I think we'll have a better picture of what's going on. But Choctaw Central's had an amazing season. I mean, they were riding an undefeated streak for a while. They kind of hit some bumps in the road like a lot of teams do once they get into district play. But big road game tonight to finish out the regular season for West Lauderdale. I know it's not been the kind of year they won. I know they're very young in a lot of spots, but it just wouldn't be the same if we didn't see West Lauderdale in the playoffs. They've been a staple there for so many years and winning that division for so many years. And I think that's the big surprise to a lot of folks. I think statewide, they just penciled in West Lauderdale to win the district. Well, they're not going to win the district this year. So sometimes it happens, for whatever reason. But we'll see what happens with West tonight. But it's not going to be an easy road trip to Choctaw Central. They're a much improved team. And but West is looking at the playoffs now after that big win against Northeast last week.
Okay, and then let's move on to Petal at Meridian. You ever been to Petal, Rob?
I have been to Petal. It's been a while, but the Petal's coming here to Meridian. But I remember going to Petal when I was broadcasting at Meridian. That's a lot of steps to get to the top of the press box. I actually counted it one year. It was 120 steps to get all the way to the top of the press box to broadcast a game. It is a huge stadium, but they're coming to Meridian, which is a good news for the Cats.
It's crazy that it's such a huge stadium because I spent the weekend in Petal maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, and first time ever being there.
First time.
Except like driving past it.
Sure.
But first time actually being in the community, and I'm not knocking Petal, but I didn't realize how tiny it was.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's growing. The school district is really growing down at Petal. Now, what makes this game so interesting? Of course, Petal is going to be a heavy favorite going to Meridian. This game's tomorrow night. Remember, Marcus Boyles, who was at Meridian for one season as the head coach, well, he left Meridian. Guess where he's at now? He's at Petal. So he's coming back to Meridian. And, of course, he was at Petal once before, so this is his second stop at Petal with the Panthers. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting kind of a sidebar to this ball game tomorrow night. But it's just been a tough road for Meridian in the district, and this is going to be another tough one tomorrow night. But I tell you what, Charlie and Neil do a great job on the broadcast over there on 95.1 FM, The Beat.
Great halftime shows.
Halftime shows, everything. But, hey, Meridian will show up. They'll line up, and they'll play hard. It'll be a tough ball game against Petal. But the Marcus Bowles story, that'll be kind of a sidebar for that game tomorrow night.
Well, hopefully Meridian can put the pedal to the metal.
Oh, look at you.
Am I right?
Oh, look at you.
Am I right?
Did you stay up all night on that one?
Yeah, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for 7 days.
You've been saying, oh, gosh, almighty.
All right, Heritage Academy at Lamar.
You know, this game right here, and I'm just going to forewarn people right now, this game means absolutely nothing for playoffs. And the reason I say that, because Lamar's in, Heritage is in. The only thing that can be gained out of this is maybe a spot or two as far as seeding goes. And a lot of people are like, well, what does this mean? What's going to happen here? I think what you're going to see tomorrow night with Lamar in this ball game, you're going to see a lot of your usual starters play for maybe a series or two, and don't play the rest of the night. Yeah. And a lot of people are going to get a little frustrated by that because it's senior night. You want to see the guys play well on senior night, but you have to look at the bigger picture here when it comes to Lamar. And, of course, Heritage, they're locked up in the playoffs as well. So you want to go out there and compete hard, but, Cash, you got to look at the bigger picture. You want to keep guys healthy. You got the real season coming up in the playoffs, but it will be a special night. They'll have the senior night stuff before the game tomorrow night. But Lamar coming off a win against Winston last week. They're 7-3. They're right there going into the playoffs, and we'll just kind of wait and see what game they will play in the playoffs. But this is kind of a tough game to look at because there's not a lot riding on it for either school because they know they're going to be in the postseason. So.
Yeah. Now, Heritage, that is near Columbus, right?
Correct.
Up in that area.
Correct. They're a good team, too. They're 8-2 coming in. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't expect a very exciting game simply because of the factor both teams kind of know where they're going to be. You kind of see this in the NFL when they get to like the last week of the season when a team already knows they're like the 1 seed or the 2 seed. Why play the regular guys when you know where you're going to be at and risk injury? So you're probably going to see a lot of that in this game tomorrow night.
Okay, I got you.
And, of course, it'll be over on OKK, too. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so OKK mobile app, OKK.com.
The .com, the app, and everything else.
All that stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the other high schools that we don't broadcast, the ones that we don't like that much. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Send your cards and letters, P.O. Box. There you go.
No, that was a joke.
But yeah, Thursday night games, there's several of those tonight. Basically, all of the county schools are playing tonight. I'm saying Lauderdale County schools are playing Thursday night tonight. You've got Clarkdale hosting Heidelberg.
Clarkdale.
Now, I will say one thing. I haven't heard any kind of change of what they're going to do out at Clarkdale tonight for the ball game.
Different safety precautions
because of Heidelberg. So I'm not. I think everything's going as is tonight for that ball game. But
Heidelberg's been in the national news twice. Once for obviously the tragic events that happened, and then once for the monkeys.
You had to bring the monkeys into the conversation.
It's just like every time I look at my phone, I see Heidelberg on my headlines. It's just crazy.
And they can play some pretty good football down there, too.
I know. It's just, Heidelberg's all over the place. And now they're going to be at my old high school.
So I have to ask you this question. You're going to go to the game?
Maybe. Wait, is it tonight?
It's at Clarkdale tonight.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe means no.
Yeah, we'll see. If I was gonna say if it's Friday night, there's no way because I got a trick or treat.
Yeah. Look at you. There you go. So, but yeah, Heidelberg a solid team. Be senior night at Clarkdale tonight. Leake Central at Northeast Lauderdale tonight. That's a big game for Northeast. They're playing the top team in the district tonight in Leake Central. Then you got Southeast Lauderdale, who's been playing somewhat better as of late. They'll be taking on Newton County. Enterprise makes the trip down to Mize. Union looking to finish off an undefeated regular season. They go to Pisgah tonight. And then you got Richton at Newton. And then the Lake Hornets hosting Scott Central. So that's your Thursday night games tonight. So, yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a split schedule this week. So.
Okay, I gotcha. And so speaking of split schedule, you want to talk about – or have we covered? Did we cover all the Friday games yet?
We just covered the two we broadcast. There's like 3 other ones that in our area that we cover.
At St. Andrews.
Quitman's at St. Andrews, and then you got Philadelphia is going to be visiting Kemper County, and then Neshoba Central hosting Ridgeland. So those are your Friday games on top of the other 2 that we broadcast here at Digio Strategies. So.
Okay, so out of all of the high school games, which one do you have your eye on?
It's kind of tough to have your eye on one particular one simply because I think a lot of these teams have really locked up things as far as playoffs go. Everybody kind of has an idea where they're going. I guess the big one for me would be Union. And I know that's kind of an unusual place to go with Union because they have a chance to finish up an undefeated regular season. They've been one of the, I wouldn't say a big surprise. I mean, you ask people in Union, yeah, we knew we were going to do this the whole time. But I think a lot of people outside of Union are like, wow, the Yellow Jackets going undefeated. So they're going to be one of the heavy favorites going into the postseason. I mean, remember, they beat West Lauderdale earlier this year. So they've beaten some bigger schools.
Clarkdale, right?
Yeah. So
they ended their streak.
Yeah. So Union going on the road to Pisgah, that's going to be the big one simply because I want to see them finish undefeated. So,
all right. Well, let's take it on down to JUCO and college.
Yep. JUCO football along with West Alabama. So
Holmes Community College at East Mississippi.
That's the big game of the night as far as junior college football goes. That game is going to really decide as far as playoff positioning goes. It's hard to believe that junior college football, these are their last regular season games tonight.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they're going to start their postseason. Of course, they do their conference playoffs a little bit different.
Does it feel weird to wrap it up in October? I feel like it used to be longer. Or maybe I'm just crazy. It's a what do they call it? The Mandela effect.
Mandela effect?
That's actually not what the Mandela effect is. Good, not a correct use of that. But you know what I mean. Like,
I know what you mean.
It feels like it was longer when I was younger. I don't know. But to be at the end of October and to be wrapping up these seasons,
it's crazy.
Doesn't seem right.
It's crazy. But yeah, that Holmes East Mississippi matchup in Scuba tonight, that's got a lot of playoff implications wrapped in it. The other two games, East Central and Jones, East Central hosting Southwest and Jones hosting Pearl River. Those have no playoff implications, unfortunately, for EC or Jones, but tough years. I mean, East Central with a couple of wins, Jones, a couple of games below 500 as well. So you really want to win your last game, obviously, to get some momentum going into the offseason. And then West Alabama, West Alabama's got to find a way to get back in the win column. They had an undefeated streak going for a while. They lost their homecoming game last week to Delta State. It was a high-scoring ball game, and now they got to go to Valdosta State, which is always a tough chore. So, but let's see if West Alabama can avoid losing 3 straight. So,
okay. Well, let's kind of move on down to regular schmegular college.
Regular schmegular.
South Carolina at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss just hosted the Turning Point USA event.
Sure.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Got that story up on our website if you want to check it out.
This is a big game for Ole Miss coming off that emotional win at Oklahoma. They're a 2-touchdown favorite in this ball game. It's going to be a night game there in Oxford. You say Ole Miss should win this one running away, but from what we've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks in the SEC, you just don't know what could happen here. But, of course, there's all the speculation with Lane Kiffin and other jobs. And I think this go-around, it has not been as much of a distraction as it was probably 2 years ago when Auburn was knocking on his door pretty hard. But I think he's got the team pretty focused right now. And if you look at Ole Miss's schedule going ahead, they've got a very favorable schedule. I think Ole Miss has got a better than 80-90% chance of getting into the college football playoff. The only game, obviously, that'll be tricky is going to Mississippi State. You know how the Egg Bowl can be. It's kind of a toss-up type ball game. You got to go to Starkville for that ball game. So that's really the game that you kind of question for Ole Miss down the stretch. But if they keep things going the way they're going, they should be in really good shape to go to the playoff. But I don't think they'll have any problems with South Carolina here. So
okay. And then how do you feel about Mississippi State at Arkansas?
State, bless their heart, they just can't get anything to go their way. I mean, they play so hard, and they just cannot get over the hump. They had Texas right there on the ropes last week and lost that ball game in overtime. If you look at State's 4 losses, one of them they get blown out at A&M. You can accept that. But the other 3 losses, overtime to Tennessee, overtime to Texas, and then you lose to Florida, where you're basically going down there to kick the game-winning field goal and you throw an interception. So you're a play away from probably being a 1-loss team. Yeah. State is just right there. When are they going to get over the hump is the question. Now, they are a slight underdog going to Arkansas on Saturday. This could end up being a high-scoring football game. Arkansas, they made the coaching change earlier this year. They're still playing hard, but it's going to be a tough one to pick right here. I know Arkansas is slightly favored, but State always has problems playing in Fayetteville, but we'll see how it rolls. So.
Okay, and then Florida versus Georgia.
Yeah, this game is going to be a neutral site game. They call this the world's largest cocktail party. That's the big nickname for the Georgia-Florida game. It's going to be in Jacksonville, Florida. Of course, Georgia coming off the bye week, so is Florida. Florida is one of those teams in the hunt for a new football coach since they fired Billy Napier. And Georgia.
We were talking about that last week.
I know, all the coaches being fired. And, Georgia, of course, fresh off of that win against Ole Miss, riding a nice wave going into this ballgame. Georgia's going to be a heavy favorite in this ballgame. But once again, this is kind of one of those rivalry-type ball games. You just don't know. And it's always kind of an odd – Jacksonville, Florida for this ball game. It's always kind of an odd spot to for this rivalry to take place. I wish they would play them on campus, but I understand why they do that. But Georgia should win this football game, but Florida's still playing hard. So
okay, Kentucky at Auburn.
This Auburn team, they got a big win against Arkansas last week. They finally found some offense. Poor Kentucky. They lost in that overtime game to Texas a couple of weeks ago, and they just got thoroughly blown out by Tennessee last week. And that's another being fired, getting the axe and Stoops there at Kentucky, but his buyout is crazy.
Yeah.
These buyout numbers are just insanity.
Oh, yeah.
With these coaches, but I think Auburn should win this football game to kind of keep the Auburn fans a little quiet, because Hugh Freeze is another one of those coaches. A lot of folks have been saying, hey, hot seat, hot seat, hot seat. So, but Auburn and Kentucky. Auburn should win that one.
Okay, Vanderbilt at Texas.
This is going to be a fun game, because who would have thought Vanderbilt in the top 10?
Yeah, that's what you were saying last week.
I know, it's crazy. This is their last big hurdle. If they can win this game at Texas, Texas has got some injury problems now. Arch Manning got hurt at the end of at the Mississippi State game last week. So you have to wonder, what is that going to look like for Texas going into this football game? But Vanderbilt is so much fun to watch. I mean, they got the win against LSU. They had game day in Nashville last week. They beat Missouri.
And wasn't that the first time that game day had been there?
First time they ever been there.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning the game. Now you go to Texas. If they go on the road and beat Texas, I think we all need to be put on notice. They might get into the playoff. Wouldn't that be fun? Vanderbilt in a football playoff. I mean, never have done anything in football, and they could be in there. But still, going to Texas will be a tough chore, but we'll see what happens with the Commodores.
All right, Oklahoma at Tennessee.
Yeah, Oklahoma, of course, just ran out of steam against Ole Miss last week. I mean, came into that ball game as a slight favorite against the Rebels. Now they got to go to Tennessee, and Tennessee's found their mojo as far as scoring. And, of course, Oklahoma still has one of the better defenses, but will that defense travel to Tennessee? We'll wait and see on that. But I'll give Tennessee the slight nod because they're at home, and Tennessee is still in the mix here to maybe get back into the thick of things in the college football playoff. But this is one they've got to have against Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, they've lost 2 now, so they can't afford a third one. But it'll be a tough chore going to Tennessee.
All right, and then did you happen to check in on Michigan or anything about that? Or
yeah, Michigan played Michigan State last week, got another win, so Michigan's still trending in the right direction for our good buddy Bill down at Brickhaus, and
that's why I'm asking.
And they go play Purdue, and 21-point favorite is Michigan in this ball game. So when you look at that on paper, Michigan obviously a heavy favorite going to Purdue, but I know the countdown clock is on for the Michigan-Ohio State game. I know Bill is just foaming at the mouth over that one. That's the big rivalry game.
We'll probably host it at the Brickhouse.
Oh, I imagine so, and usually that game's on a Saturday, so it should be exciting. But, yeah, I don't think Michigan will have any problems there this week.
All right. Well, let's take it on down to the NFL. How about that?
NFL, there you see the poor New Orleans Saints going to the Los Angeles Rams. They have made an announcement. They have changed quarterbacks. Spencer Rattler is now on the bench. Tyler Shuck, their second-round draft pick from Louisville, is going to get his first career start this week, but he's got to do it at L.A. Okay. But the Saints, if the season ended now, the Saints would get the number 1 overall draft pick because of how bad the season is. So you have the good and the bad. Yeah, you're having a miserable season, but guess what you get out of that? You get the number 1 overall draft pick. So if things keep going that way, the Saints could land the number 1 pick. I don't know who it's going to be because we still have a lot to play out here. But I guess that's the biggest story with the Saints going into this game is they obviously will have a new quarterback behind center. But then you got the Falcons and the Patriots. Of course, the Falcons, just a tough team to figure out. 1 week, they look fantastic, and the next week they just can't do anything right. Now they get to go play the New England Patriots on the road, a great defense right there. And, of course, the Falcons did have Michael Penix out of the lineup last week with an injury, and I think that really affected their offense and their mojo last week. But they'll go to New England this week. And then you got the Colts and the Steelers. This is kind of a sneaky good game. You know, the Colts, one of the best teams in the AFC right now with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, and he may be an MVP candidate. Steelers coming off that loss against Green Bay the other night, so that should be a fun game there. As Aaron Rodgers feeling a little bit of heat there after losing a couple. And then probably the big game of the week after these three is probably Kansas City and Buffalo. Of course, that always seems to be a fun matchup.
The Fighting Taylor Swift.
The Fighting Taylor Swift's going to the Buffalo Bills. And this game probably, and I say probably, is going to have a lot riding on it simply because the winner is probably going to have a leg up in hosting a home game in the playoffs. So, and these two teams, I saw a stat yesterday where Buffalo, with Josh Allen as their quarterback, is 4-1 against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the regular season, but the playoffs, the Chiefs are undefeated against the Bills in the playoffs. So the Bills play them well in the regular season, but the postseason is a completely different story. But the game's in Buffalo. That's going to be a rowdy crowd. I believe that's the late afternoon window game on Sunday afternoon. And, of course, we got to throw the Cowboys in there. They won't play until Monday night against the Arizona Cardinals. So, but Cowboys licking their wounds after Denver kind of pushed them up and down the field this past Sunday.
The Fighting Dak Prescott.
The Fighting Dak Prescott. And he's having a great year. Dak's having a great year. They just don't have a defense that can stop anybody. I mean, he's probably one of the better passers in the league, but if you don't have a defense to stop folks, it really doesn't matter. So,
what do they say? The best offense is a good defense.
Exactly, right. For some teams.
Did I get that right?
Some teams, that's very true.
All right, Rob. Well, is there any other game you want to talk about as being your top one to watch? I know you said for the NFL there, it's going to be that Kansas City Chiefs game. Yeah,
KC and Buffalo is the big NFL game. I guess if we go back to the college games, probably Vanderbilt at Texas. I think that's the big game.
Just because of their rise, kind of.
Yeah,
like
I mean, that's a fun game to look at because when the schedules came out, all right, let's be honest here. When the schedules came out several months ago, Vanderbilt at Texas, we all would have said, oh, Texas is going to blow them out by 40 or 50 points.
But now here we are.
And look at this. This is one of the better games of the week now on the schedule. Yeah. So amazing how things work out. So
I'll be interested to see which way it goes and to get your take on it next week.
Absolutely.
Sure. All right. Well, before we kind of wrap it up, we do want to give another quick shout out to our sponsors. I'll start with Tammy Thompson's Bell Bonds 101. Give Tammy a call anytime at 601-513-9588 or go visit her at 600 Constitution Avenue in downtown Meridian. Tammy Thompson's Bell Bonds 101 serves Lauderdale, Clark, Newton, and surrounding counties with confidential 24/7 support.
Absolutely. Appreciate Tammy so much. And, of course, All-Star Team Sports. Of course, Football Friday does live there at All-Star Team Sports. They've got everything you need from customized apparel for your favorite team to sporting goods for upcoming seasons. Also, I forgot about soccer. Soccer season's about to be.
Everybody forgets about soccer.
Everybody forgets about soccer. But if you need uniforms or sporting goods, there you see the number on your screen, 601-483-7385. They can get something customized for you and do a great job as well.
And I say that as someone who played soccer for like 10 years. Okay, so I can say that.
You can say that.
I can say that. That wasn't a dig.
That's right.
That was trauma. Okay, so our next sponsor is Ujjwal Kumar with Dillard's Men's Department at Uptown Meridian. He is a men's fashion expert. Whether you want something new or you want to freshen up what you already have, give Ujjwal a call at 601-686-1129 or simply go by Dillard's. Go to the men's department, and Ujjwal is probably already on the floor, or you can ask for him by name.
Absolutely. Does a great job, and he can get you styling and profiling for sure.
Exactly.
So, also, we need to thank our good friend Bill down at Brickhaus Brewtique. Of course, they're right in the heart of downtown Meridian at 2206 Front Street. And if you're looking for a place with the largest selection of craft beer in Mississippi, they've got it, and some really good handcrafted food. Of course, they are the spot whether you're catching the game, hanging out with friends, Wrens are kicking back after a long week. They got you covered. And, of course, Bill always wants to remind everyone, go blue, and Michigan's playing very well lately. So, of course, you can check them out. Once again, that's 2206 Front Street, where Meridian goes to unwind at Brickhaus Brewtique.
All right.
There you go.
And I do want to remind everybody, like this video, comment on it, subscribe to this podcast. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, you name it. It is on there. You can also find it on our YouTube channel or simply going to queencitynewsfeed.com. We appreciate your support. Make sure that you tune into all of our football broadcasts. We've got Meridian High always on 95.1 The Beat.
And they'll play tomorrow night.
And then we've got Lamar, which is always on 97 OKK.
They play tomorrow night.
And West Lauderdale, which is always on Q101.
They play tonight. So, yeah, it's a weird week with these Thursday/Friday games, but kind of saw this coming on the schedule, obviously, and hope everybody has a great – and pack maybe a jacket or two. It's going to be a little cool, and they're expecting maybe some frost, especially north of here. So, yeah, first time it feels like football weather tonight.
I know.
Or tonight and tomorrow night.
And for everybody that is going to be either at a football game or out trick-or-treating tomorrow, I heard the weather's also going to be chilly that night, too. Like
Perfect.
50, something like that, maybe lower than 50.
Perfect.
I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We do want to thank our producers, Mackenzie Joyner and Nickie Farmer. And, of course, this is all recorded in studio here at Digio Strategies. And we thank you guys for joining us for the football feed with Queen City Newsfeed. We look forward to seeing you back here next week, same time, same place.